Well, President Ramaphosa announced that Eskom will be unbundled into three entities, namely generation, transmission and distribution. The units will operate under the Eskom Holdings banner. For reaction, we're joined via Skype by energy expert Chris Yelland. Chris, good morning to you. I just want to start off with this particular tweet that was put out by NUMSA's Irvin Jim, and I just want to read quickly what it says. This is the standard technique of privatization: defund, make sure things don't work, people get angry, and you hand it over to private capital. Is this effectively what is going on, privatization?
No, I think that's a very cynical approach that has been taken by NUMSA. We know that Eskom is in serious trouble. It has not been simply engineered this way, but it has turned out this way as a result, really, of a business model that is no longer fit for purpose. And one cannot simply carry on doing the same old thing and expect things to improve. Things are going to get worse if we don't take action. And I think it's important for Labour to start playing a constructive role in coming up with solutions rather than simply a destructive role and calling for further strike action in the middle of elections. So I am not in favour of what NUMSA are saying at all.
In your view, Chris, is this likely to work then to turn things around, this unbundling of the power utility?
Well, it's a first step, but a very important step on a process. This is not an event, but a process that is going to take several years. And the unbundling of Eskom is absolutely essential. It has happened elsewhere in the world. It's important. Eskom has gone well beyond economies of scale to the level of diseconomies of scale. It is of a size that is simply unmanageable. And people cannot see the wood for the trees. And even within Eskom, they are wanting to ring-fence the different business units so that they can try and understand what is going on, where the cross-subsidies are taking place, where the inefficiencies lie, and what can be done about it. So it's an important first step. I think the most urgent priority is to carve out of Eskom a so-called independent system and market operator. In other words, taking the transmission business out of Eskom to create level playing fields with non-discriminatory access to the grid by a number of generators, not simply Eskom generators. Eskom on its own cannot solve the problem. It needs multiple generators operating on level playing fields, generating into the grid on economic grounds, not on political grounds, not conflicted because Eskom is both a transmitter and a generator. No preference given to its own power stations, but preference given to the least cost, most efficient generators that can produce low-cost electricity for the benefit of customers.
Chris, so this has been done elsewhere in the world. So how has it been done there? Or perhaps the best question to ask is, has it remained in public hands or did some components go private?
It varies from country to country. But certainly the transmission grid is a natural monopoly, and all pundits say that the transmission grid should remain a state-owned company or an entity, which really provides access to competing generating companies which may or may not be in private hands. Eskom generators could remain state-owned companies. But other generators which may be privately owned or in public-private partnerships also require access to the grid, and there's no reason to restrict the access to only government-owned generators.
The biggest fear, though, Chris, is that retrenchments may be afoot.
I think this is a red herring. With the new technologies that are coming along, these are more job-intensive than the old generation technologies. For example, generation of electricity from coal. These are not labor-intensive. Coal mining is not a labor-intensive business anymore. Coal mining, for example, has been highly mechanized and automated, and jobs are being shed in the mining industry and have been shed for the last decade. Got nothing to do with IPPs, got nothing to do with privatization, got everything to do with large open cast mines that are mechanized and automated. The opportunities in renewable energy offer significant opportunities for new jobs. But of course, they may be in different geographic areas, and they certainly will require different skills. So there's a need for a just energy transition. This will take place over several years. We've got more than enough time to plan a just transition and to put it into effect, to retrain, reskill, redeploy people, and also to build renewable energy generation plants on the old sites of old coal-fired power stations where there's an existing grid connection. Really, there are huge opportunities also in the distribution sector for redeploying Eskom people for where there's a surplus in Eskom to the municipal distribution sector where there's a shortage of skills and capacity. So it's really a question of redeploying labor rather than losing jobs.
All right, Chris Yelland, we'll leave it there for the time being. Thank you very much for your insight there. Let's take you live.